Hey, what's going on YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I maintained a 6+ KDA over 11 games to start Season 11 with one of my favorite supports, Zilean. This clock-throwing maniac may not have the best laning phase, but he's certainly a beast when it comes to those hectic teamfights. I'll be going over items, runes, skills, and playstyle in this mini Season 11 Zilean support guide. Zilean is a really interesting support champion that you can adjust your playstyle with based on 3 of the 4 mythic support items. Let me go over each of these mythic items that you should consider buying when playing Zilean support. The first and most common mythic item for Zilean support is Imperial Mandate. This mythic item provides champions with an early on-hit effect as long as the champion has some sort of immobilize or slow spell in their kit. Zilean's E ability slows enemy champions from 40 to 99%, meaning that he can very easily proc this mythic item's effect. After casting his W ability, he can quickly recast this targeted slow ability on a separate champion for another proc of Imperial Mandate's passive. Additionally, landing double bombs on any target will instantly stun them, which provides another great source for Zilean to immobilize champions. Overall, this item provides Zilean with both ability haste and mana regen, which are core elements you need to build on Zilean. Remember that these bursts of damage can be refreshed after 6 seconds per champion. Choose this mythic item if you feel you can play aggressively into the enemy team comp, providing your team with just a little bit of extra AP damage. The second mythic item for Zilean support is Moonstone Renewer. Earlier this preseason, Moonstone Renewer had some bugs to it and the healing effect wasn't as front-loaded. But with the most recent patch in 10.25, Moonstone Renewer now heals an extra 40 base health every 2 seconds. By the time you finish this item, you can be healing your teammates at a starting rate between 85 to 100, up to 130 to 150 health every 2 seconds, as long as they are in combat. Due to the high damage bursts in this season's meta, this item probably isn't as useful versus an enemy team comp that has an extremely high burst. Instead, if you find yourself in extended teamfights where you are confident in your team's survivability, Moonstone Renewer can end up healing your team up to 5k damage in a standard game. Choose this mythic item if you feel you need to enhance your team's ability to survive in long and drawn-out extended teamfights. The third and less common mythic item for Zilean support is Locket of the Iron Solari. In my opinion, this item is one of the more underrated items since its passive is hidden away in an aura form. Nearby ally champions gain 5 additional armor and 5 additional magic resistance, which equates to nearly 200 extra worth of gold in resistances. Additionally, Locket also provides Zilean with a survivability tool with an active that provides a huge shield of 3 to 400 health. Although this might not seem like a significant amount for your typical tank, it can seriously help mitigate that initial burst we see from the high damage comps we see in Season 11's meta. Being able to survive through the initial spell rotation means that your carries now have an additional chance to subsequently turn and kill the enemy team. Choose this mythic item if you feel you need to survive through heavy initial burst. Activating Locket in crucial moments can severely bait and confuse the enemy team into a misposition, costing them the entire teamfight. After choosing one of these 3 mythic items, I'd suggest purchasing an Oblivion Orb to help apply grievous wounds to ensure they can't out-heal your team's damage. Zilean is a fairly mana-intensive champion, so upgrading this item to a Chemtech Putrefier is the most common and suggested build path. Remember, Zilean loves both mana regen and haste, which is exactly what this item provides. Alternatively, if you aren't noticing any mana problems with your playstyle, opting for a Morellonomicon is a viable option choice as well. Due to the heavy assassin meta, Zhonya's Hourglass will likely be your other legendary item choice to consider. Since you will be using your ultimate to save your carries, you need a way to stay alive yourself. Building Zhonya's is very effective as you not only avoid the assassin's burst attempt, but you also buy yourself enough time to throw out another one of your spell rotations to either speed up allies or CC enemies. Finally, because Zilean support doesn't really need too much AP to be effective, you will instead want to buy the new warding item in Season 11, Stirring Wardstone. Buy this item once you reach level 13 to help provide additional vision for your team. You can also upgrade this item late game into Vigilant Wardstone. Despite this item being not the most cost efficient, it provides Zilean with a lot of ability haste, such that you should theoretically be able to reach 100 ability haste or 50% cooldown reduction. With this amount of CDR, you can practically become a certified pianist by the amount of spells you will be spamming in late game on Summoner's Rift. Here are a few example final builds for Zilean support. For runes, there are 2 main rune pages you can consider, and this again revolves around your playstyle. For a more defensive style, especially versus tanky all-in supports, you can decide to take the keystone rune, Guardian, followed by Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. This is my personal favorite rune page to take, as it is very forgiving if you end up taking a bad trade. It isn't as flashy, but it's highly effective against all-in supports. I'd recommend taking this rune page if you aren't feeling confident in winning your lane matchup. The secondary tree can consist of one of 3 pairs, Mana Flow Band and Transcendence, Biscuit Delivery and Cosmic Insight, or Presence of Mind and Legend Tenacity. Alternatively, for a slightly more aggressive build, your keystone rune will be Airy, followed by Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, and Scorch. In the secondary domination tree, I like to run Cheap Shot for the extra damage off any CC and Relentless Hunter to help get to objectives much faster. Aggressive playstyles are meant to be played in lane dominant matchups where you can bully the enemy bot laner and perhaps their enchanter support. For skill upgrades, I like to start with Q, then W, then E. This is then followed up by putting up to 3 points in Q, then maxing E, then W. Getting points on Q for laning phase keeps the enemy team honest where they have to respect the damage. However, going into mid to late game, I prefer to start maxing E to help me move around the map much more quickly. Roaming as a support is key, and having that additional move speed for either you or your teammates is extremely beneficial. Once E is maxed out, finish your skill order upgrades with W, then your last 2 points on Q. Lastly, I want to touch upon 2 basic concepts that will instantly improve your Zilean gameplay. The first gameplay tip applies to the laning phase and involves your Q ability. Zilean loses a tremendous amount of lane pressure if you miss your Q, so you have to have a high level of certainty before throwing it. Try to throw a bomb when the enemy ADC is locked up into his auto animation. Zilean can be quite mana intensive, so you have to use your bombs with purpose, especially in lane. Going into mid game, missed Qs are less punishing as they can still serve as a great zoning tool to secure objectives and win teamfights. The second gameplay tip revolves around your ultimate usage. Zilean's ultimate will revive an ally champion if he dies within 5 seconds of the cast. Essentially, you need to anticipate when your ally champion of interest is going to die and use it almost at the last second. In Season 11, since everyone has so much damage anyways, it's probably better to err on the side of being premature than being late. You want to use this ability on the champion that will provide the most meaning to a teamfight. If you use your ultimate on a tank, it effectively gives them another chance to help absorb damage in a teamfight. Or you can use it on a teammate that has a high carry potential and can end up 1v5ing the enemy team once revived. Remember, do not use this on any dying teammate where their life has no meaning on the outcome of the ensuing teamfight. You will no doubt get flamed by some of your dead teammates if they see your ultimate ability is still up, but sometimes you have to save it for who you think will have the greatest impact to carry that particular teamfight. You want to be very thoughtful when using your ultimate, as it can be extremely game-changing. Zilean is a very unique champion with lots of unique tips and tricks, but I'll save the rest of them for a future video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit that like button and consider hitting that subscribe button too. It really does help. Also, I do stream League on Twitch, so please feel free to come by and hang out with our community. Check the description box below to know when I go live. If you have any thoughts regarding Zilean support, please let me know in the comments below. See y'all in Diamond. Untiltable. Untiltable. Streamers. Untiltable. Untiltable.
That's gonna be